Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like motherfucking kitchen sinks. You know, before I get into today's story, if you will, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I bring you a story or a video, it's guaranteed to be at least 30 minutes. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you don't feel like being there, you're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Maybe you're trying to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're viewing or listening to this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / real life story / life experiences is the channel for you. Now, if you like the channel, the videos that are 8, 9, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Kens TV, it's Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. And that's what it's going to be. I've had a couple people jump in my comments as of late. Kens, man, I rock with you, but you don't have to explain to us every time. Understand that you're not the only ones watching this video. Understand that this is part of my my intro. Understand that if you don't like my intro and what I say, start your own YouTube channel, and therefore you can do videos and get right into the videos the way that you want to do them. But at Real Kens TV, this is what we do. Shout out to all the truck drivers. Shout out to all the people that's making it happen, all the supplies that you're delivering, all the people that's at work putting in them the nurses, the doctors putting in them 16-hour shifts, 8-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, however long you may work and you enjoy the longer videos. Shout out to you, man. Now, with all that being said, there is a message. You know, oftentimes I've been accused of, hey, how you doing? I've been accused of not really caring for the police. You know, people have told me, Kens, it just really seems like the police officers, they're just not your best of friends. My whole thing is this. The thing with the police, I do believe that police officers, the police force in general as a whole, is necessary. I mean, think about it. If someone's breaking into my mom's house and trying to cause harm to my mom or my kids or, you know, something of that nature, and I can't get to the situation, obviously I want the police to come and rectify the situation. So I'm never going to be like, you know, police are not necessary. I don't like the police officers that abuse their authority. See, it's a big, big difference. People see things and they run with certain things and they hear and see what they want to see and hear, if that makes any sense. I'm going to give y'all two separate situations in which I had encounters with the police, and I've had several encounters with the police, to be honest. Had a good encounter with the police, and I've had a bad encounter with the police. This particular night, I never will forget. I never will forget. I was riding down Red Mile Road. If y'all from Lexington, then you're familiar with Red Mile Road. Red Mile Road is where they have like all of the like the campus housing. So if you go to University of Kentucky, they have like campus housing on Red Mile Road. Now, it's not just campus housing. They have restaurants, they have stores, but it's known to have campus housing. Right across the street is what's called Red Mile. Red Mile is the horse tracks, and it's a semi-casino. We don't have table games in Kentucky, but they do have slot machines. At this particular time, this was years ago, they didn't have the slot machines. They just had regular Red Mile where you go and you bet on horses, simulcast, and sometimes they run live. It's probably about 10 o'clock at night. It's not too late. It's pouring down raining. I'm talking about, man, it is raining like cats and dogs outside. You heard me? I'm in a Cadillac. I got a clean Cadillac, man. I'm talking about it's a 4-door, it's silver. It's clean. It's been well kept. Leather seats on the inside. I got bang in there. I got 315s in the back. I mean, 312s. I'm sorry. JL Audio's dual voice cords. I'm banging. I'm coming through bumping. I don't even remember. Probably some at No Limit. That's how far back this was. Probably, I want to say this happened maybe in 2000, 2001, maybe 99. Somewhere right around in that range. Y'all have to excuse me for the view. The sun is shining so bright, and I couldn't really find a place that had a lot of shade, but the show must go on. I'm coming through, I'm jumping. Now, this Cadillac, man, I ended up buying it off of an elderly couple. They barely even drove the car. And it was so well kept, and they liked me. And, young man, we're going to give this car to you at man, they gave it to me at such a beautiful price. I think I ended up paying like $6,500 for that Cadillac. Didn't even have 100,000 miles on it. Didn't even have close to 100,000 miles on it. So I'm coming through. I'm jumping. Next thing I know, and it's raining so hard outside. So I'm not speeding. I'm not doing anything to break the law. I got my seatbelts on. I'm just in a moment. I'm having a moment. You know how it is sometimes when you're listening to your music and you just going through some things and you thinking about some things, just having a moment. Ah, this sun is bright. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, that helped a lot. Next thing I know, I look up. Police officer's behind me. He gets behind me. I'm not thinking any pause, though. When I say he gets behind me, double, triple pause. He's driving, the police vehicle behind me. Just don't sit well with me when I say that, but that's just what it is. Next thing you know, I see the infamous lights, red and blue lights. What's he pulling me over for? I'm not speeding. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm baffled at this point. I'm on a dark road. Anybody that knows this particular road is just it's a two-way road. You have the ongoing traffic or what have you, but it's like a thin road. It's not really too many places to pull over, so I end up pulling over. I pull over, it's dark. Just like the rest of the road. I pull over. I roll the window down, but it's raining so hard. So he comes up to the window. When he comes up to the window, he got his hat on. He got his police rain jacket on or what have you. So I'm rolling the window down. Water splashing, rain is splashing all in the car. So the window's cracked. I'm like, hey, how you doing, officer? I need you to roll your window down. Officer, my window is rolled down, but it's raining, crazy outside. Roll the window down. So I roll the window down. I roll it about, probably about halfway down. I got rain, water splashing all in my face. Do you know why I pulled you over? I don't know, because I'm black, maybe. That probably has a lot to do with it. I'm mad. I'm peeved. Now, I wouldn't recommend having this sort of attitude with the police, but I got to keep it real. That's what I said to him. License and registration. What did I do, officer? License and registration. Get my license, registration, insurance. He asked for insurance too. Pull out give it to him. He goes back to his car. I'm sitting there. I'm still waiting. I know I ain't did nothing. I don't have any drugs, and I don't have drugs on me anyway. I've not been drinking anything. Why did this dude pull me over? He never even told me why he pulled me over. Comes back to the car. Has a ticket. He gives me a noise ordinance. A noise ordinance? Yeah, I could hear your music, and you was way, way over there. Well, I was parked, way, way over there, and I could hear your music way over there. How could you possibly hear my music, officer? My windows are rolled up. It's raining like cats and dogs. And even if you did hear my music, I'm not in a residential area to where I'm disturbing anyone. Is it against the law to have loud music? I understand in a neighborhood, a residential area, what have you, people trying to sleep, or, you're disturbing people as you drive by their home. But there's not even... I don't understand. Shut up. What? Shut up. Officer tells me to shut up. He didn't give me my, my license, registration, all those things back. Like, shut up. Bitch, you shut up. Now and again, I'm younger. I'm kind of obnoxious back then. Bitch, you shut up. Think you talking to? Get out the car. It's only him. There's no backup or anything. Get out the car. I'm still in the car. I ain't getting out of nothing. I got my door locked. I done rolled my window up, but it's not all the way rolled up. But I ain't getting out of nothing. I ain't got to get out the car. You done gave me my license back. You done gave me the ticket. I don't got to get out the car. Get out the car. I pull off. I pull off. He goes and jumps in his, his squad car. Immediately cuts his light where his lights never were cut off. Puts his little siren on or whatever. He's wanting me to pull over. Now, at this particular time, I'm like, what do I got to pull over for? I'm not even going fast. I'm only going maybe about 40 miles an hour. The speed limit on this road is probably like 45. I'm going like 40 miles. So I guess essentially I'm in a slow speed chase. I remember the O.J. Simpson when he was in the Bronco and they was chasing him on one of the, California highways. He wasn't going fast. That's a slow speed chase. Once he turned the lights on, my whole intention was not to outrun him, obviously, because I'm going 40 miles an hour. My whole intention is to get to a gas station to where it's other people. It's a well-lit area because this police officer really had me nervous, and I'm not even going to lie. You tell me to shut up, and just the demeanor that you had on your face, it just really looked like you had a disdain for black people. It's the way I took it. I continue to go. I get to the light. The light just happened to be green. I make a right. When I make a right, I'm on a road that's called Versailles Road. Once I make that right, there's a Thornton's gas station off to the left. I pull into the Thornton's gas station. I pull up under the, where the gas pumps is at because it's still raining like crazy. I know I'm going to have to get out of the car, so I don't want to just be standing in the rain. I want to go outside in the rain. No, I didn't want to go outside in the rain. It's lightning and everything. So I pull over. He comes to the car. He got his gun. Get out the vehicle. Get out of the vehicle. He's screaming like crazy, like somebody just, ran up in a school or something and escaped. I get out of the car. I got my hands up. Just like on TV. Grabs me, roughs me up, throws me up against the car, pulls my hands behind my back or whatever. Man, what you charging me with? Shut up! What you charging me with? Now there's people in the gas station. It's not a lot of people, but at this point it's like 10:30, 10:40 at night. There's people in the area, so I feel a lot better about that, and there's lighting. Next thing you know, I see another police car pull up. That's his backup. The police, they always gonna call backup. I'm trying to adjust this lighting for you because it just... So the backup comes. When the backup comes, I'm up against the police car or whatever. Hands behind my back. In my mind, he has absolutely no reason to be arresting me, to have me in cuffs. The individual that I see walking to the scene, it's my dude, Mike. Mike's a police officer. Mike went to, I knew Mike mainly from going to college. When I went to K-State, Mike went to K-State just as well. At this particular time, Mike, his entire family, they were police officers. So he followed in their footsteps. He was a police officer. He's talking to the officer. Then he comes over to me or whatever. I'm like, hey, Mike, man, this racist MF, man. Let me tell you what he did, man. So I'm trying to explain to Mike what happened. Mike goes back and talks to the officer. They both come back over to me. I'm thinking, okay, Mike's here, man. They're going to let me go. Officer wasn't hearing that. Mike's like, man, it's his call, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't nothing I can really do. I told him that, basically I told him he was a good dude or whatever, but it's his call. He already called it in, to the police department or whatever. Whatever they report to, when they get on they little, they lifelines, he had already called it in. I'm being arrested for fleeing and evading, wanton endangerment, assault on a police officer, because when I drove off, my mirror allegedly hit his arm, his elbow, and it hurt so bad. Wanton endangerment means I'm putting other people's lives at risk because he jumped in his car and decided to follow me. He could have gotten injured, so that's wanton endangerment on a police officer. Wanton endangerment on the public because there were other cars coming in opposite direction. But I never went over 40 miles an hour. I'm in jail with all of these charges. There's no bail bondsmen in Kentucky. There's no 10% bond unless the judge grants it for you, and you're going to have a lawyer that goes to court for you to get that. I'm in jail with like a $30,000 bond, something crazy, over a traffic stop. They ended up reducing my bond down to, I don't know, maybe $3,000 eventually. I still had to sit in there about a week before they reduced my bond. My car got towed. couldn't get my car out of impound because the car's in my name. Nobody else could go get it. Now, I did get my car back, once I, was released. Noise ordinance. He charged me with all type of no turn signal, all type of dumb stuff. It's felony charges. The fleeing and evading, the wanton endangerment, all of these charges are felony charges. See, the police can write up a ticket, a citation, the way that he wants to write it up. Now, it's up to the prosecution, whether it sticks, and the judge, but initially a police officer can write the citation up the way that he sees fit to write it up. I'm sitting in jail for absolutely, in my mind, no reason. That's how I feel. And I still really feel that way. If Mike didn't pull up, there's no telling what would have happened to me. If I didn't take off, I don't know if I'd be here with you all today. Because this police officer, I seen it in his eyes, man. I seen it in his eyes. He had a disdain for me. I hadn't done anything. I hadn't done anything wrong. Wasn't speeding, anything. End up going to court. The whole process takes, this is one of the few times it didn't really take that long. Typically on felony cases, to beat a felony case or to just to deal with a felony case is going to take you a year and a half. I had a real good lawyer, came in. Come to find out that this officer had been written up before or reprimanded before pulling black people over. First, they try to offer me like a misdemeanor, 12 months. We'll give you 12 months to serve, suspended sentence, which basically means we'll put you on probation for 2 years. And if you mess up, you have to come back and serve 12 months in the county jail. No, I'm not taking none of that. I didn't do nothing. That was my disposition about the situation. I ain't do anything. So we go back to court, a couple more times or what have you. And end up getting every charge dismissed. Totally dismissed. Now, even though it ended up to where I got my charges dismissed, just think about it. I had to pay money for an attorney. That was a couple $1,000s. Had to put up a bond, which I got that back. Thing about a police record is, even though the charges are dismissed, it's still on your record. So when you go to get a job or anything, they see, oh, you ran from the police. You had an assault on a police officer. Yeah, but those were dismissed. But yeah, they still see it. I had to pay money to have those items, expunged off my record. Because at that time, I wasn't really, getting into trouble like that. It was one situation where I ran across a bad police officer. There's no doubt in my mind where if I had gotten out of that car on that dark, long road, on Red Mile Road, he would have beat me to death. Then he would have probably put in a report that I tried to run, or I was being resistant, they've been beating black people for years, man. They've been beating people for years, but they've been beating black people for years. It's just now starting to be recognized. And even though they know they're on camera, they continue to do it. Every day it's a different report of an individual being beat by the police when they were in cuffs. And just because they offered a little resistance, moved a little bit, or what, half the time it's some handcuffs that they put on you that are so tight that are cutting your wrist to the point to where you got blood coming from your wrist because the handcuffs are so tight. They don't tell that part though. So that's why I have a sort of a disdain for police, but I do think that they're necessary. I just can't stand the ones that are overzealous. Same as the correctional officers. A lot of those correctional officers wanted to be police officers. They just couldn't cut it. So they come into the jails, into the system, and they act as though they're really real live police officers. Not all of them, but some of them. Can't stand them. I tell you to this day, I can't stand them. So that's one of the examples of a bad police officer. I seen the look in his eye. I heard the tone in his voice. If I'd have gotten out of that vehicle, man, he was going to do me in. He was going to do me dirty. Then he's going to write up a report and make it seem as though it was my fault. Real Kens, you didn't have to run. You should have just complied. Complied and what? Got unalive? No. I'm going to get to this gas station. I'm going to get somewhere that's well lit so that the people can see and vouch for my story, which was the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. See, the fact of the matter is you never even should have pulled me over. There's no way that my music was that loud. I wasn't disturbing anybody. My windows were all the way up. Now, I know those JL Audios bang. There was no reason for you to even pull me over. Seen a black man driving a decent car. And I don't even know how he seen that because the rain was coming down so hard. You know how you got to turn your defrost on. I don't even know how he seen. I don't understand it. But nevertheless, that's what it was. I'm not sure whatever happened to him. I just know I got the case dismissed against me. And, you know, thank goodness that I used my better judgment and I didn't get out of that vehicle, man. Just because the officer tells you get out of the car don't mean you got to get out of the car. Yeah, you're supposed to. But if I feel like my life is in danger, man, I'm going to just deal with it in the courts. No, I'm not getting out of the car. I'm not getting out of the car right here. I'll get out of the car when there's people around and there's people that can, film the situation, record the situation, what have you. But me getting out on a dark road, I'm going to take my chances. And that's just what it was. But on the flip side, I had a situation occur to me. Now, I've told this story before, but it was many, many months ago. I didn't have that many subscribers at the time, which I appreciate the subscribers that I did have. So if you've heard this part before, just kick back and, relax, simmer down. Because I'm telling it, same ending, same results, but I'm just kind of flipping it and putting it in a different format. 2004. I know exactly when this was. August 2004. Y'all rock with me, man. Y'all let me know where you chiming in from, man. What city? I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Jump in the comments. Let me know, where you chiming in from. Daggone sun won't go down. August 2004. I decided to go out that night. I've been home for 4 months. Not even 4 months. Really, about 3 months. Because I made parole in April of 2004. But I didn't come home until like May. So I've been home about 3.5 months. I go out to the club one night. There was a club in Lexington at the time that was called Starlight. If you're from Lexington, man, let me know if you remember that Starlight. I'm at Starlight. I don't think I had been out the entire time, 3.5 months that I've been home. I go to the club, man. We popping bottles, we finger popping, we having fun. I've been locked up for 3 years. A little bit over 3 years. My first time out, man, I'm having a ball. I'm kicking it. Doing the most. Now, when I say doing the most, meaning I'm having fun, but in my eyes, I was having responsible fun. I had 2 drinks the entire night at the club. I was probably at the club about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. Probably not even that long, because being in the club for 3 hours, for me, that's a long time. I might have been in the club maybe 2 hours, 2.5. Nevertheless, I was in the club. I had drunk a Long Island iced tea and a Corona. After I drank the Corona, I didn't have anything else to drink for an entire hour after that. I said, "Don, because I'm driving. So I feel perfectly fine." You know how those club drinks are. They're not the strongest drinks in the world. I feel perfectly fine. I wait about an hour. I'm drinking, but I'm drinking water. I'm going to the bar. I'm just buying water, ice water. Little female I met or whatever. She was filling the cans. "Why don't you come over?" She had already left, but she was at home. "Why don't you come over tonight?" I'm a single guy, young guy, very young at this point. So I'm like, yeah, I'll come through or whatever. I'm feeling good. After all, I haven't had anything to drink for an entire hour. And even when I was drinking, I had 2 drinks. I get in the car. I'm on my way, to go see her. I'm actually on the phone with her. "What you doing, baby? What you got on?" "Oh, for real? Oh, man, I'll be there in like 10 minutes, man. I'm on my way. I'm hurrying up, but I can't speed. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming." You know how it is, man. You meet somebody. She was fine, too. As I go to make the left turn, because I kind of got to get on, it's called New Circle Road in Lexington. New Circle Road is it's kind of like a highway road. The club that I was leaving was probably, once I left the club parking lot, it took me all of 30 seconds to get to the light, which was New Circle Road. I go to make that left turn. Now the whole area, the whole block is lit up because you got a Thornton's gas station. You got like just a shopping center on the other side. It's street lights that are bright. So the whole area is lit up. Again, I'm on the phone with her. I'm at the light. I make a left turn. I'm gone. Once I make a left turn, I'm probably only, I want to say less than 10 minutes from getting to her house. Probably 6 or 7 minutes to the exit that leads to her house. I'm driving, I'm on the phone, we talking. Not speeding at all, I'm in the right-hand lane. Got my seatbelt on. I always drive with my seatbelt on for the most part. Infamous red and blue lights. I didn't even know the officer was behind me. Once again, pause. Double pause. I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, oh man, police they pulling me over. She was like, you okay? What did you do? I'm like, I nothing. I don't think. I was like, let me call you back. I said, it can't be anything, but I'm gonna call you back. She's like, okay. So I hang up the phone. Officer comes to the window. How you doing, officer? I'm a little bit more, I'm a lot more mature at this point now. I've been penitentiary. How you doing, officer? A little young officer. He probably wasn't no more than 25. We was probably about the same age. How you doing, officer? How you doing, sir? You know why I pulled you over? No, sir. I don't. You don't have your headlights on. I look over at my lights. Oh! I'm driving with no headlights. At this point, it's probably 1:30 in the morning. I apologize, officer. I didn't even realize when I came, the area was so well lit. I haven't even been in the car long. The area was so well lit, I didn't even recognize that I didn't have my headlights on. I had a bad habit of not turning my headlights on. For some reason, I would just be driving and be like, oh, my lights. Even to this day, sometimes, I'm like, dang, I ain't got my lights on. License registration. I give him a license registration. Been drinking this evening, sir? No, I ain't been drinking. You sure? I mean, I had a beer. I went to the club. I went to Starlight. Where Starlight's at, He's like, yeah, I know you was coming from Starlight because I watched you when you left the parking lot. So I figured you was coming from Starlight. Yeah, I went to, I had a beer, but that was, a couple hours ago. Like, I didn't excessively drink or whatever. Hold on just a second, sir. I'm not thinking anything. I feel perfectly fine, like perfectly within my right frame, like fine. Comes back to the car. I'm going to have to ask you to step out of the car. No problem, sir. No problem, officer. See the difference between the first time and the second time? Get out of the car. They're going to conduct a field sobriety test on me. No problem. Have me count to 100 backwards or whatever they did. Maybe, put the thing in front of your nose and you got to follow it and you got to walk a straight line and they want you to do the Harlem Shake and they want you to do all type of, They want you to do all type of weird stuff, man. Now I'm being facetious, obviously. But they want you to do a whole lot of weird stuff that if you haven't been drinking, you might not pass. Push the little thing in my mouth. Infinite pause. I'm not even going to go with double and triple. Infinite. Push the little, you got to blow into the thing. The limit in Kentucky had just been changed. It used to be a .10 and higher was a DUI. It had been changed. It had been lowered a couple years prior to .08. I blew a .082, I believe. Put your hands behind your back. For what? For what, officer? But I'm putting my hands behind my back as he's telling me to do. But I'm at for what? Driving while intoxicated. Driving while intoxicated? I'm not even drunk. He shows me the results on the little breathalyzer. I'm sick. I feel perfectly fine. I'm thinking about this young lady that I'm supposed to go over and do the most with at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm really thinking like, oh my God, what is she going to think? But then I get to thinking like, man, I'm going to jail for a DUI. My bonds are going to be about $2,500. I ain't been out of penitentiary for no more than 3.5 months. I just did 38 months. Thing about Kentucky, when you're on parole officer can send you back over anything back then. But there's 2 misdemeanor charges that will automatically send you back: assault 4th degree conviction and a DUI. I haven't even been home 120 days. Thinking about my daughter at the time, she's young. I'm thinking about, man, I'm about to have to go through this whole nightmare all over again. I'm in the back of the cop car. I'm on my way to jail. I do what I know how to do best. I use my personality. Officer, let me holler at you, man. Me and you about the same age, right? He's not really saying much, but he's listening to me. I hear you, man. Listen, man. We're on the way to the jail. Listen, man, I just got out of penitentiary. I know he knows this because he done already looked up the report on me. What is the deal with this son, man? I've been out of penitentiary less than 4 months, man. It's my first time going out tonight, man. I was just out to try to have a little fun, have a good time. I was going to meet a young lady over in the Taste Creek area. That's where I was going, Taste Creek. I understand that I blew a .082, and there's no excuse. It's not acceptable. But officer, I didn't even know that I was drunk. I had 2 drinks. I didn't drink for the last hour. I just been drinking water. I feel perfectly fine. Like, I didn't know that I was drunk. I didn't legally drunk. I didn't know, man. Well, you got to think about that next time. Choices. You know, we all have decisions. I understand, officer. So let me ask you something, officer. Do you have kids? Well, that's not of concern. No, I'm just asking you, officer. I'm just saying, do you have kids? Yes, I have 2 little girls. How old are your little girls? If you don't mind me asking, I know you're a young guy. You and I are probably the same age, so these little girls was like 1 and 3, something like that. 1 and 2. I said, you do a very, very dangerous job, man. And we appreciate the job that you do. We, you know, because you're necessary. We need you into the community. But in the community, I said into the community. So we're going to manually rewind that. I don't know if you can see me because the sun is so bright, but you can hear me. We need you in the community. And people like you are very, very important. And your job really goes underrated. And you're underappreciated. I'm assuming that you tuck your daughters in when you're able to. You read them, you know, bedtime stories and things of that nature. I have a daughter too, and she's, you know, 4 or 5 years old. I've been gone out of her life since she was a toddler, an infant. I understand I've been in prison. I understand that, you know, I understand that I'm out of bounds. I'm in the wrong. But bro, you got 2 daughters. I got a daughter. Please don't take me away from my daughter. Not to say that you're taking me away from my daughter, but I'm on parole, as you know. If I go back to jail with a DUI, I'm going back to prison, man. I've already been missing out of my daughter's life, and I've only had 3.5 years in my daughter's life. Please, man, please don't do this, man. I understand I'm wrong. I didn't know. I felt as though I was being responsible. I didn't know that I was legally drunk. Please don't do this to me, man. Please don't. Oh, you should have thought about that before you had those drinks, man. I gotta take you in. We riding. It's a nice little ride. It's probably where he pulled me over from and took me into custody. It's probably about a 15-minute ride. Y'all rock with me. I'm in the back of the cop car. I feel as though at this particular moment, I got to win an Oscar. What I'm doing now is not enough. But it wasn't particularly acting, though. So when I say I have to win an Oscar, I guess that wouldn't be the right thing to say, because I'm really, really serious about this. But I have to make him feel me even more. I don't say nothing for a couple minutes. We're getting closer to the jail. So once we get to the jail, it's over with. Because once they take you into the jail, they book you in, and you know, you're not going to have these one-on-one moments with the officer at that point. He's going to book you in, and he's gone back on his route, and now I'm in custody. Please, officer. You know how on New Jack City, the movie New Jack City and Pookie, played by Chris Rock, when they was taking him into, man, they just be calling me, man. It just be calling me. Because he got high. Pookie was a dope fiend. So he's trying to convince the officer, which was Ice Cube, he just be calling me, man. Please don't. I had to go through my Pookie, man. Nah, I don't get high. I don't drink like that. But I had to shed a few tears, man. But those tears was really, really real. Because the reality, I'm going back to prison after 3.5 months of being out. After everybody has put so much, trust and faith into me. The shame, the disappointment. The disappointment to when my people seen, man, you out here doing the same thing, or you out here catching DUIs, now you going back to prison? After all the letters off, after all the promises that you made on the visits and the letters, and you haven't learned anything. I'm thinking about all these things. Tears just start to stream out of, down my face. Please, officer, man. Please don't send me back to the pen, man. Bro, I got kids just like you. Please don't, man. He's not saying anything initially. There's nothing I can do. I've already called it in. I've already said that, you failed the sobriety test. There's nothing that I can do. Oh, man, I'm not boo-hooing or whatever, but come on, man. I was just trying to celebrate a little bit. I haven't been out the entire time, but I take accountability for my actions. I didn't know that I was drunk. Nothing was said. I'm sitting in the back of the squad car with my head down. I'm really, really thinking, man, it's over. There's nothing else that I can possibly say. We get to the garage. The county jail in Lexington, the jail is underground. I know it's hard to imagine, but it's like when you go into the garage, basically, I'm not going to try to explain it, but it's an underground jail pretty much. So we go into the garage. Once we go into the garage, he has to take his gun, put it in the little, they got like a little box. You put your gun in, check yourself in with the ID or whatever. Then you go into the parking lot, you park, then you walk the assailant, you walk the inmate, arrestee, however you want to put it, into the jail, write your citation, write your report, and then you gone. He comes to the back of the car, pulls me out of the car. I got my cuffs. Like I said, real cool dude. Wasn't aggressive towards me like the first officer whatsoever. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, man. I heard everything that you was saying. Everything that you was talking about. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to charge you with a DUI, but I will charge you with reckless driving because you didn't have your headlights on. Blessing. Major, major blessing. I understand that you were coherent. I understand that you were legally drunk, but I think that law sucks. You drank 1 or 2 drinks but you do understand that the law is the law for a reason. Yes, sir, officer. So I'm not going to totally let you off the hook, but I'm going to let you off with reckless driving, and I'm not even going to charge you with DUI. I go to court. My bond's like $100. If he had charged me with DUI, my bond would have been like $2,500. I didn't have no $2,500. I'm 4 months, less than 4 months removed from penitentiary. $100. I paid that. I got that in my pocket. I paid that. I get out. Officer was so cool, he didn't even tow my car, man. Person that picked me up went to my car, got my car, whatever. Now I did miss out because, you know, the young lady that I was supposed to hook up with, it was too late. Took a few hours. She was already asleep, obviously, but you know, I got with her later. We're gonna talk about that later. But you best believe O'Ken's got with her at some point. But not seriously. Let's keep it serious. I go to court. Prosecutor so cool. She's like, why was she driving without your headlights? I was like, ma'am, to be honest, I'm a blunded. I didn't realize that I didn't turn my headlights on. I offer no excuses. I understand I have to do better. You know, I get in the car, I put my seatbelt on, I make sure that everything is, but my mirrors are adjusted and everything, and sometimes I just forget to turn my headlights on, and the area was so well lit, and she knew the area. The prosecutor throws the whole, get out of here, man. Just don't do it again. Get out of here. Dismisses the whole charge, man. But none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for that officer that spared me, that showed me love, compassion, you know, grace. I don't know how many of y'all are Christians. I don't know who you all's higher powers is. But I'm a Christian, Jesus Christ, you know, even though I've made terrible decisions and mistakes in my life, I was raised in the church. And grace is often referred to as something that's not deserved, something that's not earned. There's nothing that you can do to receive grace. It's just given to you. It's a gift. And this particular night, this particular evening, this was grace. I've never seen an officer do what he did. Charge was dismissed, as I mentioned. Now, eventually I went back to prison, but it didn't have nothing to do with no DUI. It was a few years later. I wasn't a drunk. I'm not an individual that drinks and drives. It was just a particular night that I did this, but you got to be careful, man. When you're drinking, when you're out in the club, you're having a good time with your friends, and you think that you're good, and you haven't drank 10, 11 drinks. It don't take 10, 11 drinks. Sometimes it just takes 1, 2. Get you an Uber, get you a Lyft, get you a designated driver. You know, just don't even put yourself in that situation. You know you're going to go out and you like to drink. You like to have a drink. Get your Uber or Lyft. Because you could find yourself in the back of that squad car. That's why I don't hate all police. I don't hate anybody. You got bad cops, you got good cops. You got good people, you got bad people. But we're all people. That officer that pulled me over initially on that side of the road, I felt as though he was going to do something to me, possibly unalive me. Or something that could lead to me being unalive, which essentially is the same thing. In the second situation, I didn't really feel like that officer was hearing me. I was talking to him. But something in his heart, man, I don't know what it was, man. He gave me a shot. He gave me another chance. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. As I mentioned, I ended up going back like 3 years later. I didn't go back 3 months later, but I ended up going back 3 years later with another charge, doing the same pig-headed, dumb stuff that got me in there initially. But I will always have respect for that officer. I don't remember his name, but I will always have respect for that officer. And that's why I do not dislike all police officers. There's really some people. I remember Jake from Training Day. He was a good officer. But then you're always going to have your Lonzos, man. And that's just the way that it's going to be. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat. Actually, I didn't do that right. So let's rewind. Anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Real Kens TV. Once again, I apologize about the view. The sun is just so bright, but guess what? You hear my voice. So that's all that matters, man. Real Kens TV.